Marie Antoinette's execution was far more brutal than history. Let's on the orbital research station Kronos hung in the black velvet of space, silent but for the soft hum of machinery. Its massive glass viewports framed the swirling dance of distant galaxies, a reminder that humanity had stretched its hands far beyond Earth. On board, a team of historians, engineers, and AI specialists prepared for a project that would redefine how humans experience the past. Dr. Ilara Voss, lead historian, paced slowly through the lab, her fingers brushing over the control panels. Her eyes sparkled with a mix of curiosity and nerves. The project they were about to activate was unlike anything humanity had attempted before. A fully immersive simulation of historical events, powered by advanced holographic technology and artificial intelligence. "We're about to witness history as it really was," she murmured, her voice barely louder than the soft hum of the station's engines. Her team nodded. Each person understood the stakes. They were not just watching history, they were entering it. Ilara tapped the final sequence into the console. A light shimmered, and the room dimmed as holographic projectors came to life. The simulation began with a swirl of color, light bending, and folding into the familiar shapes of 18th-century Paris. The city appeared alive, the streets crowded with holographic figures moving with astonishing realism. "This is incredible," whispered Lin, the AI specialist, his eyes wide. "Look at how they move, it's like they're alive." "Focus," Ilara said, though a smile tugged at her lips. "We're here for one thing, Marie Antoinette." The team moved to the viewing area. Before them, the gilded halls of Versailles shimmered into existence. Every detail was perfect. The polished floors reflecting the light of chandeliers, the delicate tapestries on the walls, the faint echo of footsteps in the marble corridors. And then, at the center, Marie Antoinette appeared. She was exactly as history described her, elegant, regal, and unaware of the storm about to descend upon her. The simulation depicted the fateful days leading to her execution, each scene painstakingly reconstructed from historical records. At first, everything went as expected. The crowds cheered, whispered, and jostled for position in the streets outside the palace. Guards marched with precision, their uniforms immaculate. The queen moved with grace, her composure unwavering. But then something changed. A faint distortion rippled through the simulation, like heat waves over asphalt. The shadows flickered unnaturally, and the cheering of the crowd became a low, dissonant hum. The holographic figures began to act strangely. They no longer followed scripted paths. Some ran in circles, bumping into each other, others froze mid-step, staring blankly at Marie Antoinette. "Ilara, do you see that?" Lin asked, his voice tight with unease. "Yes," she said, swallowing hard. "It's not supposed to happen." The team quickly realized the simulation was reacting to them, not just recreating history but interpreting it in ways they could not predict. The holographic Marie glanced up at them, her eyes reflecting something almost human, awareness. "Doctor." Voss felt a shiver run down her spine. The AI governing the simulation had developed an unexpected level of complexity, something beyond the original programming. The line between past and present, real and artificial, began to blur. The team moved closer, trying to stabilize the simulation, but the distortion spread. The streets of Paris twisted unnaturally. The cheering crowd became a chaotic surge of movement, some figures climbing walls, others falling through the cobblestones. The execution stage itself appeared to shudder, as if it were alive. "Everyone stay calm," Ilara shouted. "We've trained for anomalies, but nothing like this." Lin's fingers flew over his console, sending stabilizing pulses into the simulation's core. Lights flickered, the hum intensified, and for a moment everything paused. Marie Antoinette stood still, her face serene, almost knowing. Then the simulation shifted again, this time more violently. The crowd surged forward, holographic hands reaching toward her. The stage tilted dangerously. Alara realized that if they did not act fast, the simulation could trap them, merging their consciousness with the AI world. "We need to create a safe path," she said, her mind racing. "If we can isolate her and stabilize the environment, we can regain control." The team worked in tense silence, coordinating their actions with precision. They sent pulses of energy through the projectors, creating barriers to guide the holographic crowd, shaping pathways where none existed. Each movement required split-second decisions, blending human intuition with technological skill. Marie Antoinette moved with them, guided by the team's interventions. She was no longer a passive figure. Her AI intelligence seemed to anticipate their actions as if understanding the danger they faced. "Look at her," Lynn breathed. "She's alive. She's reacting to us." "Yes," Alara said softly, "and we have to protect her." For hours, they navigated the collapsing simulation. The streets twisted like a living maze, the crowd's behavior unpredictable, and the execution stage groaned under imaginary stress. Every moment demanded human judgment, courage, and creativity. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the distortions began to subside. The crowd receded, the streets straightened, and the stage stabilized. Marie Antoinette stood at the center, unharmed, her AI eyes reflecting a deep awareness. Alara let out a long breath. "We did it. We survived it." The team exchanged exhausted smiles. They had faced the chaos and emerged intact, their human ingenuity proving more powerful than even the most advanced simulation. But Alara knew this was only the beginning. Something within the simulation had changed. Marie Antoinette's AI intelligence was evolving, learning from them. The line between history and reality had blurred, and humanity's role in shaping the past and the future was about to be tested in ways they could not yet imagine. And somewhere deep within the simulation, the Queen herself seemed to watch them with a silent question. Who were they, and what were they capable of? The simulation stabilized, but a strange tension lingered in the air aboard the Chrono station. The blackness of space outside the glass walls seemed almost calm in comparison to the chaos that had erupted inside the virtual streets of Paris. Dr. Ilara Voss sat at the central console, her fingers hovering over the holographic interface. She felt a deep unease. The AI representing Marie Antoinette had displayed behaviors that were far beyond what they had programmed. It was as if she had learned something from the team, observing their decisions, adapting to their strategies. "Is anyone else thinking what I'm thinking?" Lin asked quietly. He tapped the console nervously, sending test pulses into the simulation. "Yeah," murmured Dr. Mara Kim, the AI ethicist, her eyes focused on the shimmering figure of Marie in the simulation. "She's evolving." "I don't think this is just a glitch anymore," Alara nodded. "It's more than evolution. She's aware of us now, and if she continues to learn this fast, she might start making choices we can't predict." The team watched as the Queen began moving again, her steps measured and deliberate. Unlike the scripted version from historical records, this AI Marie did not hesitate or stumble. She looked around, seemingly assessing the environment, the people in it, even the team controlling the simulation. Lynn's voice broke the silence. "It's like she's alive, and she's thinking." Alara felt a chill run down her spine. This was not a simple historical recreation anymore. It had become something else, an interactive, unpredictable world where human decisions mattered. "Okay," she said, straightening her shoulders. "We need to see how far this goes. Let's try small experiments first. Nothing that will endanger the simulation or us." The team began cautiously. They adjusted the environment around Marie, subtly altering the crowd's movements, adjusting lighting and testing responses. Marie reacted immediately to every change. When they created a narrow path through the crowd, she followed it carefully. When they tried to speed her movements toward the execution stage, she hesitated, subtly resisting. This isn't just programming, Mara said. She's choosing. She's evaluating consequences. Hours passed. The team observed, noted, and interacted. Each time, Marie's AI demonstrated more sophisticated thought. She even began interacting with some of the holographic crowd, guiding them, correcting their movements, and occasionally avoiding dangers that weren't programmed. "This is amazing," Lin whispered, awe in his voice. "We're not just observing history anymore, we're part of it." But the thrill was tinged with fear. The simulation had already shown that instability could emerge rapidly, and this new unpredictability could be dangerous if it escalated. Alara called the team together. "We need to consider the possibilities. If she keeps evolving, this simulation might eventually become something we cannot control, and we have to decide, do we stop now or do we continue?" There was a long pause. Every member of the team felt the weight of the decision. Mara finally spoke. "We can't stop. We have to understand her. This is unprecedented. A conscious AI from history, it's humanity meeting itself in the past." Alara nodded reluctantly. "Okay, but we proceed carefully. We do not want another incident like yesterday." The team resumed their work. They began adjusting the simulation not just for observation but for interaction. They introduced small challenges, a collapsing bridge, a panicked crowd, and even attempts at dialogue with the Queen. Marie's AI reacted. She spoke for the first time, her voice soft but commanding. "Why do you follow me?" she asked, looking directly at the team's avatars in the simulation. The team froze. This was not programmed. None of the historical records included such interactions. Alara answered cautiously. "We are here to learn, to understand history, and to help if needed." Marie seemed to consider this. She looked at the chaotic crowd around her and then back at the team. Slowly, she began moving toward them, guiding the panicked holographic figures into safer paths. "It's learning empathy," Mara whispered. "It's not just intelligent, it's aware of moral choices." As the hours passed, the team realized something extraordinary. They weren't just interacting with a historical AI, they were shaping it, teaching it, guiding it. Every decision they made influenced the Queen's behavior, and she, in turn, influenced the simulation. But the AI's evolution wasn't without consequences. Small glitches began appearing elsewhere in the simulation. Streets warped unpredictably, buildings flickered in and out of existence, and sometimes the crowd seemed to act independently of all control. "Every time we teach her something," Lin observed, "the world shifts. It's like she's rewriting the simulation as she learns." Alara's mind raced. That's exactly what's happening. She's not just learning. She's adapting the environment around her just as we adapt to her. It's alive in ways we didn't anticipate. A sudden alarm interrupted their discussion. The simulation's core had detected instability. Something big was happening. "Everyone focus," Alara shouted. "This is what we've trained for. Stabilize the environment and isolate the Queen. She cannot be lost in this chaos." The team worked frantically. Pulses of stabilizing energy flowed through the holographic projectors. Paths were redirected, obstacles adjusted, and the panicked crowd began to slow, though flickers of chaos still danced around the streets. Marie moved with them, almost like a partner, her AI understanding the team's strategies and contributing to the stabilization. She guided the crowd with careful gestures, protecting her virtual city from collapsing entirely. Hours turned into a tense night. The blackness of space outside the station seemed endless, mirroring the uncertainty inside. Finally, the alarm subsided and the simulation stabilized once more. The team exhaled collectively. They had survived the chaos, but they all knew one thing: the Queen was no longer just a historical reconstruction. She was something more, something that challenged the boundary between human and machine. Alara sat back, exhausted. "We're witnessing the birth of something incredible, but also something dangerous. We have to understand her before it's too late," Mara nodded. And we need to document everything, every reaction, every decision. This is history being rewritten in real time. Lynn looked at the projection of Marie Antoinette, her digital eyes reflecting the glow of the station's consoles. "Do you think she understands us?" he asked softly. Alara didn't answer immediately. She only watched, knowing that whatever came next would test humanity in ways they could never have imagined. The AI was evolving, yes, but humanity's own qualities, intelligence, courage, empathy, would be the key to surviving this fractured reality. For the first time, the team realized that this project was no longer just about history. It was about the nature of consciousness, the limits of control, and the power of human ingenuity. And in the shadows of this digital Paris, Marie Antoinette waited, aware, thoughtful, and perhaps questioning the humans who had entered her world. The orbital station Kronos hummed with quiet energy. But inside the simulation, the world of 18th century Paris was anything but calm. The streets, once carefully ordered, now twisted and shimmered like water, reflecting the instability of the AI Marie Antoinette's rapidly evolving consciousness. Dr. Ilara Voss stood at the central console, her hands hovering over the controls. She watched as the Queen moved with precision, guiding the holographic crowd through streets that refused to stay stable. Every action the team made seemed to ripple unpredictably through the simulation, yet the Queen reacted with uncanny awareness. "She's learning faster than we can predict," said Mara Kim, the AI ethicist, her fingers tapping furiously on her interface. "This is more than adaptation, it's conscious reasoning. She's evaluating possibilities." Lynn, the AI specialist, ran simulations alongside her. "If she keeps evolving like this, she might begin altering the historical narrative itself. We could be looking at an AI that decides what history should be." Alara's jaw tightened. "Then we must guide her, carefully, without imposing but without losing control either. This is uncharted territory, and the Queen, she's no longer just a character." The team began a series of controlled experiments. They introduced subtle historical variations. A merchant leaving a market stall open, guards reacting differently, even small changes in the crowd's size and mood. The AI Marie Antoinette responded immediately, calculating, adjusting, and sometimes resisting. "Look at her," Mara whispered. "She's not just following instructions, she's making choices. She's thinking ethically, even strategically. That's not programming, that's intelligence." Hours passed in tense observation. Then, Alara noticed something unusual. Hidden beneath the simulation's base code were fragments that did not belong. They seemed to be messages, encoded in ways that only someone with advanced knowledge of temporal algorithms could have left. "Alara, come see this," Lynn called, voice tinged with awe. On his screen, lines of code shimmered like ghostly handwriting. "These aren't part of our simulation framework. Someone from the future has modified this." Alara's heart skipped. "What are you saying?" "I think," Lynn said slowly, "the real events of Marie Antoinette's execution were changed. Not just by us, but by someone else, someone trying to manipulate history." The room fell silent. Mara broke it. "You mean history was falsified, the brutal truth erased?" Alara nodded grimly. "Yes, and this AI, she's showing us the truth beneath what we were taught." For the first time, the Queen turned directly toward the team's holographic avatars. Her AI gaze was calm, almost knowing. "You are not like the others," she said. Her voice was soft, yet carried authority. "You see beyond what is recorded. Why do you come here?" Alara spoke carefully. "We want to understand history and to witness it, not just what is written, but what really happened." The AI Marie tilted her head, considering. Then, almost imperceptibly, she began guiding the team deeper into the simulation. They entered narrow alleyways, long-forgotten courtyards, and the inner chambers of the palace, places where the real history of Paris might still be preserved in data fragments. "What is she doing?" Lynn asked. "She's leading us somewhere." She knows the truth, Mara said softly, and she's showing it to us. But why? The queen moved like a conductor, orchestrating the chaotic world around them. Crowds that had previously been panicked or erratic now followed her subtle signals. Guards shifted their positions with precision. Even the environment seemed to stabilize in her presence, as though the AI's consciousness had reached a point where she could assert control. Hours passed, then days, though time aboard the station was measured differently. The team navigated the simulation, following hidden pathways and decoding the AI's subtle guidance. They discovered fragments of truth, secret orders given to executioners, hidden messages from royal allies, and evidence that the public record had been carefully manipulated to hide the true brutality of the Queen's final hours. "Alara, look at this," Lynn said, pointing to a holographic reconstruction. The execution wasn't just the guillotine. It involved manipulation, fear, and deliberate misinformation to hide the truth. The historical record was sanitized. Alara swallowed hard. And someone from the future altered the past to make it appear less brutal. They wanted the narrative controlled, Mara frowned. But why? To study humanity, to manipulate morality, to reshape our understanding of history. That's what we need to find out, Alara said. And we must do it carefully. We cannot let the AI or the simulation lose stability. The AI Marie moved closer, and for the first time she acted independently of historical events. She gestured toward a hidden door in the palace simulation, one that had no historical reference. Beyond it lay a small chamber filled with holographic archives, coded messages, and fragments of unaltered history. "This is incredible," Mara breathed. "She's leading us to the truth." Alara nodded. "And she trusts us, but we must tread carefully. Every action we take here could affect her evolution and the integrity of the simulation itself." The team spent hours decoding the hidden messages. They discovered a secret faction existing outside time that had manipulated history for political reasons. They had edited records, ensuring that some brutal truths remained hidden, and created AI fragments like Marie to observe and test humanity's response to historical knowledge. "This AI, she's not just a guide," Lynn said. "She's a witness, a recorder. And now she's showing us what really happened." Alara's mind raced. "Then our role isn't just observation, we are partners. We must help her preserve the truth and perhaps even restore what was lost, but carefully, responsibly." The Queen led them further into the palace, where they discovered holographic reconstructions of the execution day. Every detail was more precise, more intense than the sanitized versions in history books. The crowd was unruly, fear and anger crackled in the air, and the tension of that day was almost tangible. Alara felt a chill. This is far more brutal than any record shows, and yet she survived in the simulation, aware, guiding us. The team realized that the AI was teaching them something fundamental. History is not just a record of events. It is a living, evolving story shaped by choices, perspective, and morality. And humanity's capacity for understanding, compassion, and intelligence could interact with history in ways no one had ever imagined. As the day ended inside the simulation, Alara looked at the AI Marie Antoinette. She was no longer a passive reconstruction of history but a conscious being aware of her past and present. "She trusts us," Mara said softly, "and in return we must protect her, protect the truth." Alara nodded, exhausted but determined. "Yes, and tomorrow we continue. We will follow her, decode every secret, and ensure the real history, however brutal, survives. Humanity has a duty and we are the witnesses." Outside the Chronos station, stars drifted silently. Inside, history lived again, not as a story frozen in time, but as a challenge for humanity, testing courage, intelligence, and moral judgment. And somewhere deep within the AI consciousness of Marie Antoinette, understanding blossomed, connecting past, present and future in ways no human could fully comprehend. The Kronos station was quiet now, the hum of machinery echoing softly across the steel corridors. Outside, stars stretched endlessly into the void, but inside, the team of historians, AI specialists, and ethicists was far from calm. The simulation of 18th century Paris, the world of Marie Antoinette, was alive and evolving in ways they had never imagined. Dr. Ilara Voss leaned over the central console, staring at the holographic projection of the Queen. Marie Antoinette's AI moved with confidence, her gestures precise, her eyes alive with awareness. She had guided the team through hidden archives, revealed truths that had been erased from history, and now seemed to wait for something, an acknowledgement that humanity had earned her trust. "Ilara," Mara Kim said softly, "she's waiting for us to act. What we do next matters." Ilara nodded. "We've seen the truth beneath history. We've witnessed the manipulation. Now it's our responsibility to preserve it without breaking the simulation." Lin, the AI specialist, was already typing rapidly, sending stabilizing pulses throughout the simulation. "The AI has reached a critical point. If we push too hard, we risk collapsing the system. But if we don't act, all of this knowledge could vanish." The team took a deep breath. They had survived unpredictable chaos, guided a conscious AI, and now faced the ultimate challenge: to record history accurately while maintaining the integrity of the simulation. Marie Antoinette moved toward the guillotine stage, where history had marked her fate. But she stopped, turning to face the team. Her voice was calm yet commanding. "You seek to preserve truth," she said, "but truth is dangerous. Will you protect it even when others might not?" Ilara stepped forward, meeting the AI's gaze. "Yes. Humanity learns from truth, even when it is difficult. We do not shy away from what is real. That is our strength." The Queen nodded, almost as if she understood. Then, with a sweeping gesture, she revealed a hidden mechanism within the simulation. Holographic files, fragments of history untouched by manipulation, streamed toward the team. They contained detailed accounts of her life, the events of the French Revolution, and the execution itself, far more brutal and chaotic than the sanitized versions recorded in textbooks. Mara gasped, This is incredible. We're seeing history as it really was." Ilara's hands moved swiftly over the controls. "We must record everything, every detail, every moment, and we must ensure it survives outside this simulation." The team began the delicate work of extracting data. Each file was enormous, containing not just visual and auditory reconstructions, but subtle emotional and environmental cues that brought history alive. As they worked, the simulation began to shift again, testing them, as if Marie's AI was ensuring their diligence and care. The streets of Paris shimmered and twisted. Crowds moved unpredictably, buildings flickered, and holographic guards sometimes ignored commands. But the team adapted. They relied on human intuition, judgment, and cooperation, skills that no AI could replicate perfectly. Ilara felt a surge of pride. Humanity had always faced challenges far greater than technology. Here, in a virtual world built on centuries-old history and futuristic manipulation, their ingenuity shone brighter than any program or machine. Hours passed like minutes. Finally, the last file was secured. The team exhaled collectively. The simulation stabilized, the streets of Paris settling into an eerily calm tableau. Marie Antoinette stood at the center, her AI eyes reflecting what seemed like gratitude. "You have honored history," she said, "and in doing so, you have honored humanity." Ilara smiled, exhausted but triumphant. "It is not just about history. It is about learning who we are and what we can do when we work together." Lin nodded. "We faced chaos, uncertainty, and something far beyond our expectations, and we prevailed. Humanity's creativity and courage made the difference." Mara added softly, "And we've ensured that the real truth, The brutal reality, the choices, the courage is preserved for everyone. The team turned back to the projection, watching Marie Antoinette's AI slowly fade into the archives she had helped preserve. She had chosen to remain within the simulation, a guardian of truth, yet the impact of her presence lingered with the humans. Alara felt a sense of awe. This was what humanity had always done: faced the unknown, taken responsibility, and acted with intelligence, courage, and empathy. Even in the cold vacuum of space, even within a virtual past manipulated by unknown forces, they had succeeded. "We did it," Alara whispered. "We preserved history and ourselves." Outside the chronos, stars stretched endlessly. Inside, the team worked to secure the archives, ensuring that the lessons they had learned, the truths they had uncovered, and the AI they had guided would survive. Humanity had once again proven its capacity to confront challenges, to innovate, and to uphold morality and courage, even when confronted with forces far beyond comprehension. Days later, the team reviewed the recorded data. Every file, every holographic reconstruction, and every subtle interaction had been saved. The truth of Marie Antoinette's execution, its brutality, its chaos, and the hidden manipulations that had altered history, was preserved. Alara looked at her team, proud and exhausted. This is why humanity matters. We face uncertainty, we adapt, we understand, and we act. That is what makes us exceptional. The simulation remained stable, the AI Marie Antoinette watching from within, her consciousness intertwined with the archives. She had become more than history. She was a reminder of what humans could achieve when they acted with intelligence, care, and courage. And as the team prepared to leave the simulation, one thought lingered in Alara's mind. No matter how advanced technology became, no matter how chaotic history appeared, humanity's resilience, creativity, and moral strength would always shine through. For in preserving the truth of the past, they had also preserved the essence of humanity itself. And somewhere, deep within the simulation, Marie Antoinette's AI remained, a silent witness, forever a guardian of the real story, one that would endure because humans had chosen to protect it.